Why, hello there. Good morning, everyone. Paul Tranny here. Going to dive into today's daily creative challenge, and it is Thursday, July 16th. And hopefully this day or evening finds you well. It's good to have you here. Feel free to say hello in chat. If you're joining me elsewhere, come over to Behance. That's where the conversation's happening. Probably wearing a black shirt today. Yes, you're right. It's not all black. There's words on it. But yes, anyways, we'll dive into this. This is going to be good. Daily Creative Challenge. This is actually second to the last one. We're going to deal with smoke and flames. We're just going to like burn it all down. Not really, but we will deal with some smoke and flames, which is super easy to work with. But you can deal with it in very creative ways. So I encourage you to look at tools, say, okay, this is what it's made for, but this is what I could do with it. Right, and this is part of our summer reading program where we're telling stories and we're also learning about Photoshop. So that's the idea. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now, and thanks for hanging out with me this beautiful Thursday, right? Hopefully everybody had a good night's sleep and everything. It's good to have you here. So again, smoke and flames, you could deal with it in a real artistic way, which I think is fun. I want to get into some of that. But smoke and flames, here's actually behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. Hopefully everybody's there with me. And you, if you're joining me elsewhere, yeah, this is basically the URL. Grab this file, get started, boom, there it is, right here, Smoke and Flames. It is... The Long Tomorrow is the name of the book by Lee Brackett, which actually she was kind of helped write. Was it Empire Strikes Back, if I'm not mistaken? I'd have to look. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure she helped write. She helped with some of the Star Wars movies too in writing it. But also The Long Tomorrow. Here's the novel actually. There we go. This is the page I'm looking for. Yeah, we'll not worry about that, but basically it's like sort of an anti-technology set in the aftermath of a nuclear war, portrays a world where scientific knowledge is feared and restricted. So yeah, and obviously that's not the case here because we love technology, right? And we know how it can empower you and others in the hands of good. So use Photoshop for good. The Long Tomorrow is actually a comic book by Mobius, which is really awesome as well. It's about actually inspired by, and then I'll get on to the, let me just, wrong one. Inspired by comics. Helped inspire the graphics for Blade Runner. So The Long Tomorrow, the comic book, inspired Blade Runner. So you can take it any way you want. It's pretty cool. You can see those graphics there. But let's start with this file and let's work with some smoke and flames. Let's start with flames. First off, right here, I want to create a new layer. Bam, here we are. And from there, I'm just going to let's just work on some flames, right in the center part. We're not going to worry about the position too much. But we need to create something first. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create something. Let me switch over. All right, here we go. We are the tech gods. That's right. So first thing you need to do is you need to create a path for your flame, okay? So right over here, you can just use, I would just use the pen tool. Actually, I'd get into the curvature pen tool because it'll allow you to draw those smooth curves and lines. So you can click, 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 something like that. Yours might not look exactly like this. Hit escape because it's going to be set to whatever your fill and stroke were. You could always reset that tool, by the way. Let's just make sure. Oh, let me just get rid of this. Let me go back in there and do that one more time. Because now that I've reset it, let's just reset this tool. I'm going to make a path. Click, 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 click. Smooth curve, easy enough, right? And we now have this work path right here. Okay, so there's our work path. We could always save this path if we're really happy with the curve that we created. We could save that path, right? Call it something, path 1, which is what everybody calls it these days. But then we can go into filter, down to, you guessed it, render out a flame. Filter, render, flame. Okay, with that selected, let's actually reset this back to the default. So it looks exactly like what yours will look like. So this is what yours will look like initially. You might not be particularly impressed with it. So again, it's just the default. It's multiple flames, one direction. So they're all going one direction. We want to make it a little bit longer, a little hotter. We can go ahead and increase that, right? We can spread out the width of those flames. The angle that if the wind is blowing, we can adjust the angle, right? And then the interval, how intense or less intense it will be, right? So that's what we typically have for flames, multiple flames, one direction. We'll click OK. We'll just see that. I could also change my render settings as well, but here's essentially my flame that I can go ahead and create. But let's go ahead and do some fun things with this, shall we? Not that this isn't fun. I want to do a number of things, okay? Because I have this layer, right? I have these other layers that I've given you, right? So you have the city. This one starts to look a little bit more like Blade Runner, which I'm really into. And I decided for the book cover, I want to make it kind of look like it's basically the old world kind of burned down, and then you have this new world where they don't like technology. So that's the theme of the book. Let's turn on this text. It is this title. I'm going to grab this city. I'm going to put it on top. Right, now that we know what flames do, and let's go ahead and turn this into a clipping mask. Right click, create clipping masks. Now that city will be inside of that text, like so. There it is, right? We can kind of move that around. That looks pretty cool, right? Let me know if you have questions. Is this really live? No, it's not. Yes, it is. All right. Ooh, I get double images on layers and Liquify doesn't update, so this is okay. By the way, Sig, you mentioned Liquify, which happens to be probably my favorite option in Photoshop. But this is what I want to do really fast. This is bonus material, okay? Because what we have here is we have this guy. He's interfering too much with our text. And I want to extend the sky, okay? I want to extend the sky, but I don't want to extend him, okay? So if I go in here and I decide, okay, I want to extend it. You'll do like your Command T. You'll do your free transform. You'll hold down the Shift key and you'll just stretch him out. So it looks like a really tall man. That's not going to work. Well, you can go into Edit and we have Content Aware Scale. So anytime I'm scaling backgrounds, I'll often pick Content Aware Scale. Right up here at the top, first off, it will stretch him out, by the way. It should still kind of stretch him out a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. But oh, this is why it doesn't. Look at this. Love this little feature right up here. Hey, guess what? If there's people in the scene, don't stretch the people, right? Click right there. We could take that, hold down the Shift key, extend that. So we're extending the sky and it's not distorting him. Tell me that's not amazing, because that's amazing. That's bonus material. Right? You didn't have to pay extra for it. Now we have room for our title. We could always kind of put that up here, whatever the case may be. But I actually want to just give it some nice flames. Here's what I want to do for the city. So that's what I would do. Kind of come in. Let's take this text. Wait for it. Again, just showing you within context of kind of like honestly what I would do. I moved my laptop to the other side of the desk so you didn't hear the fan, and now my mouse doesn't work very well, my Bluetooth mouse. So let's put some flames, because all about this old world kind of burning down. We can put some flames in here, so we can go with a curvature tool, right? We can kind of go in and do a click, and let's just kind of play with it a little bit, like have it go down a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but that's what I think is going to be fun about this. Maybe it'll go down. We could always edit this some more, but it's going to create these flames. Sometimes if the path is too long, you might have an issue happen. And I don't know why. It's sheer force of habit. I always save the path, right? But again, there's our path. We'll do what we did before. We'll go into render flame, right? And there it is. If your path is too long, sometimes it'll only show you a segment. That's fine. Everything actually looks pretty good here. And again, I can extend it up and make it the length a little bit longer, but I think that looks pretty good. You can always reset it if you want to as well. Click OK. Let's just render out that and let's get into some more content. There we are. Turn that off. Put that behind everything. Right, now we can have those flames. Play with the blend mode as well. right? If I want to use, say, lighten, and then we kind of have something kind of like that. But let's do some smoke now, shall we? It's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy, pretty fun, right? Kind of move that down. Let's do smoke. In fact, let me show you some artistic ways you can use a flame. So you can take, again, you could take anything that's a vector shape. So go in, grab anything that's a vector shape. I have a lot of legacy shapes. I got people. I got a heart right here, right? You could take anything that's a vector shape, right? There it is. Save that path. That's the path I'm going to use. It's my heart shape path. This is what most people do, is they'll create something with a vector shape and then they'll go to render flame and they'll get this error. It says, hey, you know what? Because the content of the layer is not directly editable. It means it's actually this shape layer. And you need to just turn that into, again, just go to a different layer altogether, okay? And that's if you didn't make it a path initially, okay? So when I drew, by the way, when I draw vector shapes, it was set to path, it was set to shape, but I could always set it to path on my own layer and I won't have that issue. But since most people have this set to shape, I'm just showing you the errors you kind of run into. So go to filter, we'll go to render, we'll go to flame here as well. Yes, we understand how that works, but we have more options right in here. Multiple flames along a path, right? One flame along a path. This is my favorite one. One flame along a path gives me this sweet design, right? It just takes that one flame and then stretches it along this path. And we could start to play with it. We can go randomize the various shapes and get some really interesting work. We could take the complexity down if we want to, right? And so you get these really cool sort of looks in general that you probably wouldn't expect from the good old flame option, right? So there that is. We can just position that back there and forget about it, right? There it is, just made a swooshy thing. But I need to make, I need to hurry up is what I need to do. Really fast, I'm gonna do, something else. Same thing really fast, boom, boom, boom. Based on what we just learned, we have our lovely path on a layer. We could do the same thing, go into flame, and what you start to get is you do have this single flame, which is really cool, but as you start to play with this sort of the complexity of the line, it's all we need to do is change the color of it, and it will start to look like basically a little bit more like smoke, right? So I just changed the color and I would get rid of, maybe take the opacity down some, and now we have something that looks more like smoke. So we've taken something from flames into smoke using the same settings. Click OK, there it is, right? And we can kind of put that, you know, again, back there, adjust accordingly, whatever you want to do. I'm just having fun at this point, right? Changing that to overlay, okay? So that's what's built within Photoshop, right? We can duplicate that, move it over, flip it, all that fun stuff. Distort it, rotate it, you know, there we go. Flames along tomorrow. Let's save this file because it's looking good. All right, let's move on because a lot of people will use brushes. Welcome, Chad. Good to see you here. Yes, exactly. I agree. One flame just looks better. Can I render any image along the path or flames only? You can, if you want to render other things along a path, select your path, go right up here, go to stroke path, right? You'll go to stroke path, and this gives you the ability to use any one of these tools and map it along the path. But a lot of times these are smearing, smudging, brushes, and things like that. So that's what this is. So you can have other things follow the path, but you can't sort of create a new shape. The other thing you could do, since you asked, we'll go into render, you also have picture frame and then you have trees. So if I decided I wanted a tree along this path, you could do that as well, right? So that's what all of these are. Really fast. Here's our fun tree. We'll just click OK. And now we have a tree along that same path, right? So you get the idea. It got cut off right there, but that's what you can do with all these various settings. Pretty sweet. A lot of people will use brushes, by the way. So let's just take all these. Let's take this. Let's put them all in a folder, right? Once I have one design done, I'll just like group it, you know, design one, whatever. Let's kind of go on because I can actually use brushes as well. So click your brush right up here. You can expand out your brushes panel, but it's actually easier to go to Window, Brushes, right? And you can see a number of brushes that I have that you might not have, honestly. There's some cool ones. Honestly, if you want to stack your Photoshop, what do? You go to this flyout menu. You go right over here, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. Get more brushes. Sounds like a great idea. Get more brushes. Kyle T. Webster is the man. That's right, I don't need these glasses. And you can see, yes, thank you, Chad. Chad's my segue. Thanks, Chad. Cool brushes that emulate smoke. First off, you can jump out here, check out all these different brushes, most of from Kyle Webster. Go into the concept brush. I like this one because right in here we have clouds, and I think there's smoke in here as well. But download the concept brushes are really good. And let's be honest, brush easy. Where would you go? Smoke. brusheasy.com/free/smoke. Not related, not associated with Adobe, but basically you have brushes in here that can emulate smoke. Download at your own risk. I personally haven't had any problems with it. But once you have it downloaded, right, we could see here it is on my desktop, right? From there, we could load it in, right click or click on the flyout menu, import those brushes. There's the concept brush, which I already have loaded in, but you can see it loads it in down at the bottom, right in here. I like this. Here we go. Oh, look at that. We got smoke, wispy. Guess what? We're missing our flames. Let's bring back our initial flames right over here. And yeah, start to use those wispy. Let's take this flow down. These are the wispy, this is the wispy smoke brush. I'm using a mouse, so your results may vary because I'm not getting the pen pressure. We have smoke swirl as well. Here's, again, doesn't look as great considering I'm not using any sort of pen pressure since I don't have a tablet. Here's smoke wispy 2. This one's a little bit better. Right, I could kind of get something that I want, kind of based on this, if I can only hit the right buttons. But if I wanted to make this look a little bit wispy like so, I can do that. And of course, potentially adjust the blend mode for that layer. Like I said, I've had a lot of success with Brush Easy. So let's take a look at those really fast. Smoke 1, smoke 2. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is more like what I want. In fact, let's get something kind of cool so you guys don't think I'm too much of an amateur. Taking this size down. I don't know why the size is so large for some of these. Again, these are created by the community. Like, who knows what you'll get. When it comes to adding these brushes, right, this one actually is at a different angle. And this is a new feature in Photoshop. I can just go ahead and hit the right arrow, and we can stand the smokestack up like so. So that's what I'm doing, rotating it accordingly, and now we have some lovely like smokestacks coming from back there. We'll put these flames back there as well. Command J, jumping this layer. What are we gonna do? Really fast, select subject, quick select tool, add to it, subtract the stuff I don't need, mask it out. Now I can have that flame kind of back there like so, and then we can have the smoke kind of coming up from that area, right? So that's the idea. Adding that smoke from Brush Easy did a heck of a job, wouldn't you say? Right? So again, super cool. By the way, I'm so glad we actually have the ability to kind of, and I'm sorry these are a little low, increase the size of these thumbnails and make sure you turn on brush tip. So you could see actually what these will look like. Because now I can see, oh, this one's pretty cool. Why are they so large? I have no idea. It doesn't need to be 3,000 pixels big in this case, right? Let's make it much smaller. Let's just kind of adjust accordingly. More smoke, more smoke, more smoke. You get the idea. Cool. So that brush is actually just a free brush from Brush Easy. Again, download at your own risk. I think it might be this one, Smoke number 2. But then there's also this smoke brush again. Only up to you. And by the way, that only kind of scratches the surface. I use that if I want something specific. Otherwise, again, if I go with this concept brush and all of Kyle's, you get a number of things that you can implement kind of regardless. So if I want more foliage in here, I can easily do that. Here's some foliage right down there at the bottom. Right? Cool. You get the idea? Hopefully that makes sense. Decrease the size of that. That looks pretty good, like so. Let me switch over, make sure. Yes, cool. All right, cool. So hopefully you guys like that. That's typically what I would do, is drop that in there. I encourage you, if you want to get fancy, you can even take type. I don't have much time to do this, but let's just take O for long. You know, the long tomorrow, let's take that O. Here it is. I could take this, I could select it. I can turn that selection into a path. Here's my O. Now let's light the O on fire, okay? So with that path selected, we'll go to select, or excuse me, filter, render, flame. Right now we've taken that flame. Let's reset this, by the way, just so it's back to the way it was. Set it to the default. There's my O that I've set on fire, right? So again, pretty cool, pretty impressive what you can do. So just like create your own text, convert it to paths. It could be long tomorrow that way. It could be your name, whatever the case may be. You set it on fire, click OK, right? And there's our flames, right? Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. There he is. Let's put that behind him. I don't know why I keep on wanting to. This would be another fun idea. As I get down to the last minute or two, I would actually take this, maybe duplicate it. I'm going to group all this content. I'm going to take that city. Where's that other city? Here it is. Why do I have to make my thumbnail so large? But right down here, I can put this city inside of that smoke. Boop. There we go. This looks cool too. Now we have that city inside of that smoke saying, hey, this is that old world that kind of burned down or whatever, is actually kind of showing through that smoke, which is awfully fun as well. But I encourage you to have fun with it. I'm going to get all sad tomorrow because it's the last day of the Daily Creative Challenge. But hopefully you guys appreciate this as much as I appreciate you. Actually, what I would do is I'd make sure we have our text in there as well. Like that. Ideas are endless. Taking these. There we are. Something like that. You get the idea. Cool. All right, everyone. Well, have a wonderful day. We have an awesome time. Awesome designer coming up next as well, and a full day full of awesome people. And it's all because of you. So if we didn't have an audience, we wouldn't have a show. So I just want to say thank you to you, Pam and Susan and Sean, Barbara, and everybody new joining us. Don't forget, once you have yours done, in whatever state it's in, just export that out, right, as a JPEG and post, because we're going to be reviewing these in an hour and a half. So post to Discord, right? And then we will review them as part of the current challenge tab. I appreciate everybody chiming in. Here it is. smoke and flames, just like so. There it is. I don't even know which one you guys like. I have 1, and then I have design 2. I don't know what you guys think. Definitely, this is hard to read. I get it, right? I should have moved this up. But anyways, that's for you to critique. Tell me to fix it, whatever the case may be, right? But yeah, you guys get the idea. Cool. Thank you, Cornell, Chad, and everybody. I'm going to actually wind down and sign off, and of course leave you with this lovely schedule that we have full of amazing people. And Magdalena Lopez is coming up next and doing some more Photoshop magic, as well as we're going to dive into Illustrator after that, which is the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. Then with branding and identity design, as you can see right over there. Boop. And yeah, basically a full day of fun stuff. So stick around, everybody. Magdal's up next, and we will be right back. Looks like people say number 1, number 2, 1, 2. It's kind of split. I should probably work on it some more, to be honest with you. It just all needs help. All right. And Mini Paul's over there on the shelf. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Oh, Mini Paul's coming up. Actually, I have a 3D Mini-Me, and then here's regular Mini-Me. So we'll be right back. Thanks so much for watching. Magdalena Lopez, Photoshop Magic, one of my favorite people. So stick around, everybody. Thanks for watching.